Welcome back, folks. The Dow right now is down 136. S&Ps are off 12. NASDAQ is down 19. Let's go over to our man, Mr. Teddy Kekstadt from Forex Trading Unlocked, as we do each and every Wednesday at 40 past the hour. Teddy, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, guys? I'm glad to be here with you guys today. I have a couple interesting things to talk about. Does a dog wag the tail, or does the tail wag the dog?
Yeah, you get the Forex market running. There's no doubt, right?
Absolutely. Well, remember when we talked 2 weeks ago, I was talking about the 111 even level with the Japanese yen.
Okay.
And today we're definitely accelerating above that. And the interesting thing is, Bitcoin, I think, was the precursor little signal for this big move that we have going on over the past 2 days in the currency market. You know that all the regular markets, they stop trading on Friday afternoon and don't open up until Sunday evening, basically. Yes. But Bitcoin and the digital revolution has made Gordon Gekko's adage that money never sleeps come true.
That's pretty cool, right?
You know, it really has. You know,
yeah.
Markets trade, especially you have a lot of retail business, I would assume it happens over the weekend because people work.
Right.
Over the weekends they can actually participate in that market, you know. So, there was a really interesting setup that happened in the Bitcoin-dollar relationship over the weekend. Saturday the market rallied, and then Sunday there was a little Japanese candlestick pattern formation that occurred. And then it was confirmed with an even bigger pattern that unfolded into Monday's trading. And then yesterday there was a big move in the currency market. Now, the reason I'm mentioning the signal with the Bitcoin is that the dollar, the Bitcoin was a sell signal for the Bitcoin versus the dollar, meaning dollar strength. Okay.
Yeah.
So when all the other markets were closed, the Bitcoin market, which we all know the market cap is pretty large now, was already moving the dollar. Okay. So Sunday night the markets opened up, and the yen and the dollar and the euro and the dollar all of a sudden started to be in play with dollar strength. Okay, so if you see that part, the currencies were already moving because of Bitcoin. And then we were talking about the 30-year also 2 weeks ago. 2 days ago, what happened in the 30-year bond market? They tanked on Monday morning. Why? One of the reasons being was dollar strength. When you have dollar strength, usually you have a little bit of sell-off in the interest rate market. And also, the interest rate variable is also stronger, too, because we have all this talk about the Fed raising the rates again soon.
Sure.
You know? So between those two piled together, you have this U.S. dollar strength pushing the yen, especially now above this 111 area, and you combine that with the tariff trade wars with China. That also is good for Japan, because the more we level the playing field with China, the more demand there is for Japanese goods.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So you need more yen, of course, to buy Japanese goods, right? That's the theory.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's pretty wild, man.
It would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. So, Teddy, the correlation, and I bet, you know, traders, you have your head wrapped around this, but, you know, the rest of us, we're just really starting to get our head wrapped around the aspect of the relationship between Bitcoin and these currencies. And so your take would be that, you know, you have a currency and you better watch the Bitcoin, because basically people are trading it, and they're trading it, and every time you trade it, whether it's in Japan or China or the U.S., you're using those currencies and changing those currencies. Would that be the theory?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. And it's pretty interesting, because if you just look at a Bitcoin dollar or Bitcoin yen or Bitcoin pound, their charts look basically the same. But when you have an actual move, especially in the dollar, that's when you can see where these relationships, because if you're looking at a U.S. dollar Bitcoin or a yen Bitcoin chart, you're basically looking at the same thing.
Okay.
But when you look at, obviously when you look at a yen dollar or a yen pound or whatever, there's sometimes they trade in tandem, but you're not looking at picture perfect charts. They never look the same.
Right.
Okay. So, but now when you have Bitcoin, which is, obviously becoming a major market, in the, around the world, now you have this influence where when the dollar is being used, I mean, investors and big money are playing in the Bitcoin market. You know, so where does big money go? So Bitcoin is now absolutely, and like I said, this happened over the weekend. You know, it gave a Japanese candlestick formation, which, you know, a couple of years ago, you looked at the Bitcoin in any relationship, it was unchartable. Now, because it's being traded and there's so much activity,
Yes.
it's becoming something that is technically and fundamentally viable. You know, besides, you know, no matter what your take is on the actual instrument, it just is what it is.
Which
right?
is important to say, I know.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
how do you look at those charts when you're looking at them, Teddy, over the weekend especially? Like, is it hourly, 15-minute, daily? What kind of action are you looking at when you're talking about those formations over the weekend for Bitcoin?
It's daily. I don't look
Daily.
at the hourly because,
Okay.
you know, coming from the S&Ps, like, I mean, you know what those charts look like, especially on an hourly basis, you know, or in a half hour. I equate Bitcoin to the S&Ps with their volatility, you know.
Okay.
So daily is definitely where I look at for that.
Nice.
And so, just to change gears for a second, so in the S&P you do the same thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's cool to know.
Yeah.
It's going to be intriguing to see, you know, these spreads inside Bitcoin and, you know, see if it can break out either way, right? I mean, because the spread's been pretty narrow for, you know, well, month and a half right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's...
You know?
Absolutely. And that was the one thing, like, now that you mentioned the spreads, like, this is a good time, like, with yesterday's break and Bitcoin dollar, like, I think that there's going to be a little bit more follow-through, like, especially because all the pundits yesterday and over the past 2 days have been saying Bitcoin's going to see 7,000
Okay.
very soon. Now you had this huge break yesterday that happened. I think Bitcoin's got a better chance of seeing 6,000 before 7,000. So those would be that would be a target area what I would look for over the next like week or so.
Yes.
And you might see a bounce. I'm not saying Bitcoin's going down in the long term, but I think you have a very good probability chance of seeing Bitcoin hit 6,000 because of the pattern setup that happened over the weekend. It's a sell, so
Sure.
target hit it should hit around 6,000. And then with the bonds opening up on Monday with the sell-off like they had with the higher interest rate look up, that the bonds probably are going to go down also for about another handle over the next week or so. So if that's right, and the yen continues to, especially if it settles above 111 even today, because yesterday it popped above 111 even, but it didn't settle above there. I think it was 110,990 or something like
Yeah.
that. So if it can settle above 111 even today, that's pretty strong momentum there, meaning the big money is definitely going to probably push the dollar-yen trade higher. The dollar is going to probably get a little bit more follow-through into tomorrow. And, you know, tomorrow is Thursday, and you know what happens on Thursdays. Thursdays are either big reversal days or big blow-off days. So you'll probably see profit-taking, the contrarian side happen more late tomorrow afternoon or probably into Friday, most likely.
Yeah,
That's the
and
way I see it.
Fridays coming into any weekend and between the currencies and the metals market, man, hold on for
Are
the
we
ride.
already near the end of the week already? That was
My
a quick
God,
week. I
I'm
guess
telling
so.
you,
I know.
man. I'm telling you. Well, listen, Teddy, it's a pleasure. We look forward to speaking to you next week. It's Teddy Kekstadt, folks. It's Forex Unlocked.
Forex Trading Unlocked.
Forex Trading Unlocked. You have a great one and a safe one.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. Stay right there, folks. Tommy and I are coming right back. We get the Dow down 153. NASDAQ is down 14. We're going to be coming right back.